Who let this black kid into my classroom? Professor Hartwell's voice echoed through the lecture hall. 23 years of tenure. 6 figures. Untouchable. You. Back row. The black one. Stand up. Isaiah Parker rose. 19, silent. Look at this. A black face in advanced number theory. Hartwell laughed. Food stamps. Family on Section 8. Did your welfare caseworker fill out your application? Or did some diversity committee drag you here to meet their quota? He grabbed the chalk. I'm going to write an impossible equation. PhDs have failed. Geniuses have quit. And you, ghetto trash, you're going to prove why black kids don't belong in real mathematics. But what Hartwell did next would cost him everything. His career. His reputation. His deepest secret. Comment where you're listening from right now, and subscribe to Storyversa for more stories that hit hard. Let me tell you who Isaiah Parker really was. Because Professor Hartwell had no idea. Not a clue. And that ignorance would destroy him. Isaiah was 19. A sophomore at Whitmore University. The youngest in advanced number theory by 2 full years. Every day he sat in the back row. Same seat. Same corner. The spot where nobody looked twice. He never raised his hand. Never volunteered answers. Never showed anyone what he could really do. Homework? Correct, but unremarkable. B+ average. Nothing special. Nothing threatening. That was intentional. See, Isaiah learned something early. A lesson his grandmother taught him when he was just a boy. Don't let them see everything you've got. Save something for when you need it. Being seen had a cost. Being noticed meant being targeted. In his neighborhood. In his schools. In every space where black boys were expected to fail. So Isaiah made himself invisible. A ghost in plain sight. But here's what nobody knew. What nobody could have guessed. Isaiah Parker had been solving graduate-level mathematics since he was 15. Self-taught. No tutor. No prep school. No expensive programs. No connections. Just him. Late nights. Cold coffee. And a stack of notebooks he found in his grandmother's attic when he was 13. Those notebooks changed everything. They didn't belong to Isaiah. They belonged to his father. A man named James Parker. A man who died when Isaiah was only 6. Isaiah barely remembered him. Just fragments. A warm hand on his shoulder. The smell of chalk dust on clothing. A deep voice saying words that burned into his memory forever. Numbers don't lie, son. People do. That was it. That was all he had of his father. A sentence. A feeling. A ghost. But those notebooks? Pages and pages of equations. Proofs. Theories. Mathematical ideas Isaiah couldn't even begin to understand at first. And margin notes. Hundreds of them. In handwriting that felt strangely familiar. Isaiah didn't know it then, but he was looking at his father's mind. His father's dreams. His father's unfinished work. It took years to decode. By 15. He wasn't just reading his father's work. He was continuing it. By 17. Solving problems most graduate students couldn't touch. By 19. Quietly, invisibly, one of the most talented mathematicians at Whitmore. And nobody knew. Not his professors. Not his classmates. Not even his mother. Isaiah kept his gift hidden. Protected. Saved for when he needed it. He didn't know that moment was coming. He didn't know a 23-year secret was about to explode. He didn't know his father's past was waiting for him in a Whitmore classroom. Now let me tell you about the man at the front of that room. Professor Richard Hartwell. The man who thought he was untouchable. 58 years old. Tenured for 22 years. Published in journals most mathematicians only dreamed about. He ran his classroom like a kingdom. And he was the king. Students called his course the graveyard where GPAs went to die. Hartwell liked it that way. He enjoyed the fear. The power. The control. He prided himself on one thing: maintaining standards. 3 formal complaints of racial bias in 5 years. 3 black students who said Hartwell targeted them, humiliated them, drove them out. All 3 dismissed. Insufficient evidence. Hartwell had friends in the administration. Powerful friends. The kind who made problems disappear. But Hartwell had a secret. One he'd been hiding for 24 years. And it was about to walk right through his door. October 15, 2 p.m. Room 248. Advanced Number Theory. Isaiah walked in like every other day. Backpack over one shoulder. Eyes down. Invisible. He took his usual seat. Back row. Far corner. The chair that faced the exit. Professor Hartwell was already at the front. Chalk in hand. A strange energy in the room. Good afternoon, class. Today, we're going to have some fun. A few students exchanged glances. Fun in Hartwell's class usually meant someone was about to suffer. I have a challenge problem. Something special. Something I've kept for years. Anyone who solves this equation gets automatic extra credit. Enough to guarantee an A for the semester. No matter what. Whispers rippled. But here's the catch. If you try and fail, and you will fail, you drop 1 full letter grade. Immediately. No appeals. No second chances. Silence. Nobody moved. Hartwell scanned the room. His eyes stopped. Back row. Far corner. Isaiah. Mr. Parker. Son. Isaiah's stomach dropped. Yes, sir. You've been very quiet this semester. Sitting back there. Doing the minimum. Almost like you're hiding something. Stand up. Isaiah stood slowly. Come to the front. Let's see what you've really got. Isaiah walked forward. Each step heavier. Hartwell handed him the chalk. Their fingers touched. Hartwell's skin was cold. This is an equation from a 1986 paper. Mathematicians have worked on it for decades. Nobody has solved it. Between you and me. I don't think you'll last 30 seconds. Then louder. 5 minutes, Mr. Parker. Impress me, or drop my class today. Hartwell turned to the board and started writing. The equation that would destroy his career. Isaiah stared at the board. He'd seen this equation before. In a notebook. His father's handwriting. Dated 1994. The world narrowed. The classroom disappeared. All he could hear was his father's voice. Numbers don't lie, son. People do. His father had worked on this exact problem 24 years ago. And in the margin, 3 words. Solved. Method C. Isaiah remembered the solution. Every step. Every transformation. He raised the chalk. What are you doing? Hartwell laughed. Don't embarrass yourself. Just admit you can't. Isaiah started writing. His hand moved with certainty. Numbers flowing. Symbols aligning. His approach was unconventional. Nothing like textbook methods. Because it wasn't from a textbook. It was from a dead man's notebook. A method that had never been published. Until now. Hartwell's smile disappeared. Sir. 30 seconds. Isaiah kept writing. 60 seconds. The board was filling up. 90 seconds. He set down the chalk. Stepped back. Turned around. Done. 94 seconds. That's how long it took to solve an equation that stumped mathematicians for 40 years. The classroom was frozen. Hartwell stared at the board. Checking. Rechecking. That's not possible. That's not. You couldn't. It's correct, sir. Isaiah's voice was steady. You can verify it. One student started clapping. Then another. Then more. Stop. Hartwell raised his hand. Class dismissed. Everyone out. Now. Students rushed for the door. Isaiah didn't move. Mr. Parker. Hartwell's voice was barely controlled. You'll be hearing from me. Word spread like wildfire. By dinner, half the campus was talking. A sophomore solved Hartwell's impossible equation. In under 2 minutes. Made the old man lose his mind. A black kid from Chicago. Never said a word all semester. Then, boom. Isaiah wanted nothing to do with it. He went back to his apartment. Locked the door. Pulled the blinds. Tried to become invisible again. It didn't work. 2 days later, he learned why. An email arrived. Subject: academic integrity violation. Immediate meeting required. Isaiah walked into Hartwell's office at 4 p.m. sharp. The door closed behind him like a coffin lid. Sit down, Mr. Parker. Hartwell's voice was smooth. Professional. Your performance 2 days ago has raised serious concerns. Your solution was too perfect. Too fast. Too sophisticated, for someone of your background. Isaiah felt heat rising. My background? Let me put it plainly. No sophomore solves a problem like that in 90 seconds. Not without help. Not without cheating. I didn't cheat. Then explain it. Isaiah kept his voice steady. I told you in class. My father taught me. Ah, yes. Your father. The dead mathematician. Convenient, isn't it? A witness who can never be questioned. It's the truth. Here's what I think is the truth. Hartwell pulled a document. I think you found that solution somewhere. Memorized it. Waited for your moment. Played the hero. This is a formal academic integrity complaint. I'm filing it today. You have 2 weeks to prove you didn't cheat. If you can't, and let's be honest, you can't, you'll be expelled. Permanently. Isaiah's hands clenched. I learned that method from my father's notebooks. He was a mathematician. He worked on that exact problem. Your father's notebooks. Yes. And what was your father's name again? James. James Parker. The flicker in Hartwell's eyes became a crack. I've never heard of him. He studied mathematics. He was brilliant. I said I've never heard of him. This meeting is over. I suggest you withdraw now. Save yourself the humiliation. Because that's what's coming, Mr. Parker. I guarantee it. Isaiah stood. I didn't cheat. And I'm not withdrawing. Then you're a fool. Just like. Hartwell stopped himself. Just like who? Get out of my office. That night, Isaiah made a phone call that unlocked everything. Mom. I need to ask you something about Dad. Silence. Long, heavy. Why now, Isaiah? Because a professor at Whitmore is trying to expel me. He's accusing me of cheating. And when I said Dad's name, He looked terrified. Like he'd seen a ghost. What's the professor's name? Hartwell. Richard Hartwell. A sharp intake of breath. A muffled sob. Come home this weekend, Isaiah. There are things I should have told you a long time ago. Things about your father. Things about that man. Isaiah drove home. 4 hours through rain and empty highways. His mother was waiting at the kitchen table. A cardboard box in front of her. The box Isaiah had never been allowed to open. I kept this hidden. I thought if you never knew, you'd be safe. Safe from what, Mom? She opened the box. Letters. Documents. Photographs. A young man with Isaiah's eyes. Isaiah's smile. Your father was a student at Whitmore 24 years ago. He was the most brilliant mathematician in his program. What happened to him? His advisor happened. She pulled out a letter. Yellow with age. Dated February 1995. Dear Mr. Parker, following the investigation into academic misconduct, your enrollment is terminated. Signed, Richard Hartwell, Department Chair. Hartwell was Dad's advisor. More than that. Your father developed a breakthrough. The same equation you solved. He was going to publish it. Change everything. And Hartwell stole it. Published it under his own name in 1995. Built his entire career on it. When your father tried to fight back, he was accused of plagiarism. His own work. The university believed the tenured white professor over the young black graduate student. No real investigation. Just destruction. Isaiah felt the room spinning. How did Dad die, Mom? He tried to move on. Got a job. Married me. Had you. But the injustice ate at him. He left a note. Said he couldn't fight anymore. Said the system had won. Isaiah understood. His father hadn't just died. He'd been killed slowly. Deliberately. By a man who stole his work. Destroyed his reputation. And walked away clean. And that man was still teaching. Still powerful. Still destroying students. Now trying to destroy Isaiah. I'm not going to let him win again, Mom. Isaiah, please. Just transfer. Walk away. Dad walked away. He gave up. And it killed him. I'm going to finish what he started. And I'm going to make Richard Hartwell pay for every life he destroyed. Isaiah filed his appeal. The university gave him 14 days. 2 weeks to prove he wasn't a cheater. 2 weeks to expose a crime older than he was. The whispers started. That's the kid who cheated in Hartwell's class. Typical affirmative action fraud. They always get caught. His study group stopped responding. His lab partner requested a transfer. The warehouse gave him extra shifts. Since you'll have more time soon. He stopped going to class. Every lecture felt like a trial. Then came the letter that nearly broke him. Your appeal hearing is scheduled for November 28 at 9 a.m. The day after Thanksgiving. During academic break. Faculty may have limited availability. They'd scheduled his hearing during a holiday. When the campus was empty. When no one would be watching. This wasn't justice. This was an execution. Isaiah sat in his apartment. The walls closing in. His father's notebooks spread around him like tombstones. Maybe Mom was right. Maybe I should just walk away. That's when he found the envelope. At the bottom of the box. Sealed. Yellowed with age. To Isaiah, when he's old enough. His father's handwriting. Son, if you're reading this. I'm gone. I'm sorry. I couldn't be stronger. They took everything from me. My work. My name. My future. My will to fight. But they couldn't take you. And they couldn't take what's in your blood. You have the gift. One day you'll be better than I ever was. And when they come for you, because they will. Don't make my mistake. Don't disappear. Don't give them the satisfaction. Fight. Even when it hurts. Even when you're alone. Even when the whole world says you can't win. Fight. Because giving up isn't peace. It's just another kind of death. Isaiah held the letter to his chest. His father had known. Even before Isaiah was born, he'd known this day would come. And he'd told Isaiah exactly what to do. Isaiah didn't sleep that night. He organized every notebook. Dated every page. Cross-referenced every equation with Hartwell's publications. The pattern was undeniable. James Parker's work. 1994. Hartwell's publication. 1995. Same equations. Same methods. Same solutions. His father came first. Hartwell was the thief. But evidence alone wasn't enough. Not against a tenured professor with 23 years of protection. Isaiah needed someone inside. He searched the faculty directory. One name stood out. Dr. Lydia Moore. Associate Professor. MIT PhD. One of 3 black faculty at Whitmore. The only one in mathematics. She didn't play politics. Had a reputation for fighting battles others wouldn't touch. Isaiah emailed her at 5:47 a.m. Dr. Moore, my name is Isaiah Parker. Professor Hartwell is accusing me of cheating. But I have evidence he's been hiding something for 24 years. Something about my father. James Parker. Please. You're my last hope. He hit send. And waited. Dr. Moore listened to Isaiah for 30 minutes. When he finished, she was quiet for a long time. Then she pointed to a photograph on her desk. Second from the left. That's your father. James Parker. We were in the same doctoral program. 1994. Isaiah's heart stopped. You knew him? I knew him well. He was the most talented mathematician I'd ever met. And then Hartwell destroyed him. Hartwell was his advisor. Had access to all of James's work. Stole it. Published it under his own name. 1995. Built his career on it. When your father fought back. Hartwell accused him of plagiarism. His own work. The university believed the tenured white professor. I was 22. A black woman trying to survive. Speaking up meant losing everything. I've carried that guilt for 24 years. Why are you helping me now? Because I'm tired of being a coward. And because you have something your father never had. Proof that can't be ignored. After your email, I dug into the archives. She spread documents across the desk. This is your father's research proposal. October 1994. Describes the exact methodology Hartwell published in 1995. And this, a formal complaint James filed in February 1995. Alleging Hartwell stole his research. Dismissed. Insufficient evidence. Your father was expelled 2 weeks later. So Hartwell has done this before. And gotten away with it for 24 years. But your father's notebooks. If we prove they're authentic. Hartwell's defense collapses. How do we prove that? We get someone else to prove it. Someone whose credentials the university can't ignore. She picked up her phone. My doctoral advisor. Dr. Benjamin Crawford. MIT Emeritus. Fields Medal nominee. The most respected mathematician in the country. If he says your abilities are real, nobody can argue. The phone rang. Benjamin, it's Lydia. I need a favor. A big one. Academic fraud. 24 years old. The victim's son. Yes. I'm certain. His name is Parker. James Parker's son. Thank you. I'll send everything tonight. Dr. Crawford is assembling a panel. 3 mathematicians. Independent evaluation. You have 48 hours to prepare. One of the panel members, Dr. Gregory Sullivan from Princeton. He was at Whitmore in 1994. He might be a witness. Or he might be one of Hartwell's allies. I don't know which. 48 hours. 3 mathematicians. One chance. November 26, 9 a.m. A neutral conference room downtown. No university administrators. No Hartwell. Just 3 mathematicians and Isaiah. Dr. Benjamin Crawford. 71, MIT Emeritus. White hair. Sharp eyes. Dr. Catherine Reynolds. 55, Stanford. Cryptography expert. Brutal honesty. Dr. Gregory Sullivan. 62, Princeton. Number theory. Whitmore graduate. Class of 1995. The year Isaiah's father was destroyed. Mr. Parker, we're here for the truth. Isaiah nodded. Let's begin. Elliptic curves. Graduate level. Isaiah picked up his pencil. For a moment, his hand trembled. Then he heard his father's voice. Numbers don't lie, son. People do. His hand steadied. He began to write. First problem. 43 minutes. Expected time. 90 minutes. Second problem, modular arithmetic. Cryptographic applications. He found an elegant shortcut. A method from his father's notebooks. 1 hour 8 minutes. Third problem, open-ended proof construction. Isaiah closed his eyes. Thought of his father's approach. Sideways. Unexpected. Beautiful. He opened his eyes and wrote. 3 hours and 22 minutes. Isaiah set down his pencil. Done. The panel collected his work. Conferred in whispers. Isaiah sat motionless. 30 minutes became 45. Then an hour. The door opened. Dr. Sullivan stood there alone. Mr. Parker, can I speak with you privately? Isaiah followed him to a corner. I knew your father. We were in the same program. 1994. He was the best of us. The most brilliant mathematician I'd ever met. Hartwell happened. Your father developed a revolutionary solution. Hartwell stole it. Claimed it as his own. You knew? Everyone knew. When Hartwell accused him, we all knew it was a lie. But Hartwell had power. And we were scared. I've carried that guilt for 24 years. This is my written statement. Everything I witnessed. Everything I should have said in 1994. Why now? Because I saw you in that room. I saw you solve those problems. You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for him. For a man we all failed. I'm not failing him again. I'm changing my assessment. And I'm testifying against Hartwell. Isaiah held the envelope. A confession 24 years in the making. The panel reconvened. Mr. Parker, in 43 years of mathematics, I've evaluated thousands of students. Your work today is exceptional. Problem 1, half the expected time. Problem 2, a method I've only seen in advanced research. Problem 3, original thinking at a professional level. It is my professional opinion that you are not a fraud. You are a genuine mathematical talent. Dr. Reynolds nodded. Agreed. The accusations are baseless. Dr. Sullivan stood. And I am prepared to provide testimony regarding events I witnessed in 1994. Events that explain how Professor Hartwell obtained the work he has claimed as his own for 24 years. Mr. Parker, your father would be proud. November 28, 9 a.m. The hearing room. Cold. Formal. Designed to intimidate. Isaiah. Dr. Moore. A stack of evidence. On the other side. Professor Richard Hartwell. Confident. Smiling. Certain of victory. He didn't know what was coming. This is a simple case. Mr. Parker submitted a solution no undergraduate could derive independently. He refuses to explain how he obtained it. The only logical conclusion: academic dishonesty. I take no pleasure in this. But Whitmore has standards. And those standards must be maintained. The dean turned to Isaiah. Mr. Parker. Your response? Isaiah stood. I didn't cheat. The method I used came from my father's notebooks. Notebooks dated 1994. A full year before Professor Hartwell published the same solution, under his own name. Objection. Those notebooks could have been fabricated. Then explain this. Dr. Moore placed a document on the table. This is a research proposal submitted by James Parker. October 1994. It describes the exact methodology Professor Hartwell published in 1995. And this, a formal complaint filed by James Parker. February 1995. Alleging that his advisor, Professor Hartwell, stole his work. Hartwell's face went pale. Those documents are irrelevant. James Parker was a proven plagiarist. James Parker was my father. And he didn't plagiarize anyone. He was the victim. We have independent verification. 3 mathematicians. Dr. Benjamin Crawford of MIT. Dr. Catherine Reynolds of Stanford. Dr. Gregory Sullivan of Princeton evaluated Isaiah 2 days ago. All 3 concluded he is a genuine talent. All 3 stated the accusation is baseless. There's more. Dr. Sullivan has provided a sworn statement. He was a graduate student at Whitmore in 1994. He witnessed Professor Hartwell take credit for James Parker's work. He witnessed the false accusations. He witnessed the cover-up. This is hearsay. Sullivan is lying. Sit down, Professor Hartwell. The dean's voice was ice. You'll have your chance to respond. Isaiah stepped forward. My father was 21 when Professor Hartwell destroyed his life. Accused of stealing his own work. Expelled. Blacklisted. He never recovered. He took his own life when I was 6. Because of what this man did to him. And now, 24 years later, he tried to do the same to me. Because I walked into his classroom. Because I solved an equation. Because he couldn't stand that a black kid from the South Side knew something he never could. Dr. Crawford's video testimony played. I have reviewed Isaiah Parker's work extensively. His abilities are extraordinary. His methods align precisely with the research documented in his father's notebooks. Research that predates Professor Hartwell's published work by over a year. It is my professional opinion that Professor Richard Hartwell has built his career on stolen work. And his accusation against Isaiah Parker is not just false. It is a continuation of fraud that began 24 years ago. The video ended. The room was silent. Professor Hartwell, do you have anything to say? Hartwell opened his mouth. Closed it. For the first time in 23 years, he had nothing. The dean nodded. The charge of academic dishonesty against Isaiah Parker is dismissed. Effective immediately. And an investigation will be opened into Professor Richard Hartwell regarding allegations of research misconduct, fraudulent accusations, and abuse of academic authority. Isaiah exhaled. 24 years. Finally, justice. Before the hearing adjourned, Isaiah stood one last time. I didn't come here for revenge. I came here for my father's name. James Parker was a brilliant mathematician. He was 21 when his life was stolen. His work was taken. His reputation destroyed. His name erased. He deserved to be remembered. Not as a fraud. Not as a cautionary tale. But as what he really was. A genius who changed mathematics. Even if nobody knew it. Isaiah set the notebook on the table. That changes today. The investigation took 3 months. 4 cases of research misconduct confirmed. 3 former students came forward with similar stories. 2 decades of stolen work exposed. Hartwell's tenure was revoked. Not resigned. Stripped. His publications flagged. His awards rescinded. His name removed from the scholarship he'd founded. He wasn't fired. What happened was worse. He was erased. The last anyone heard, he was teaching remedial math at a community college 2 states away. Making $40,000 a year. Living in a 1-bedroom apartment. He tried to make Isaiah invisible. Now he was the one nobody wanted to see. Whitmore University officially credited James Parker as the original author of the 1995 paper. The Association of American Mathematicians issued a formal correction. 24 years of lies, undone in a single statement. A scholarship was established in his name. The James Parker Mathematics Scholarship. Funding first-generation college students. Kids from the South Side. Kids from Section 8 housing. Kids like Isaiah. In the spring, Isaiah published his first paper. The impossible equation solved his way. The dedication read: For my father, James Parker. Who solved this first? Who taught me that numbers don't lie? And who deserved so much more than he got? Dr. Moore was promoted to department chair 2 years later. The first black woman to hold the position at Whitmore. Dr. Sullivan donated his entire savings to the James Parker Scholarship. Penance, he called it, for 24 years of silence. Whitmore created an independent review board for academic integrity cases. No more closed-door hearings. No more holiday scheduling. No more tenured professors judging their own victims. Mandatory bias training for all faculty. Anonymous reporting systems for students. 3 other universities adopted similar policies, citing the Parker case. 1 student. 1 equation. 1 family's buried truth. And a system that would never work quite the same way again. Isaiah's mother framed the newspaper article. Hung it in the living room. Local student exposes decades of academic fraud. Father's legacy restored. Below it, she placed a photograph. James Parker at 21. Smiling. Full of hope. Finally seen. A year later, Isaiah stood in front of a classroom. Not as a student. As a teaching assistant. Same room where Hartwell had tried to humiliate him. Same board where he'd solved the impossible equation. Different energy now. In the back row, a black sophomore sat alone. Quiet. Invisible. Just like Isaiah used to be. After class, Isaiah approached him. You're good at this. I've seen your problem sets. The student looked surprised. You noticed? Someone always notices. Isaiah smiled. Sometimes they try to tear you down. But sometimes, they're there to lift you up. He handed the student a notebook. A copy of his father's work. This helped me. Maybe it'll help you. Here's what this story is really about. It's not about mathematics. It's about power. Who has it? Who doesn't? And what happens when someone with power decides you don't belong? Richard Hartwell looked at Isaiah and saw a target. A black kid from the South Side. Someone to mock. To humiliate. To destroy. He didn't see a prodigy. He didn't see a legacy. He didn't see a son carrying his dead father's dream. He didn't know who he was dealing with. And that's the thing about underestimating people. Eventually, they prove you wrong. Hartwell learned that the hard way. 23 years of lies. 23 years of stolen brilliance. All of it undone, in 94 seconds, by a student he thought didn't belong. Maybe someone looked at you and decided you didn't fit. Made you feel invisible. Told you directly or not that you weren't good enough. Because of your skin color. Your background. Your accent. Your neighborhood. Maybe you're still waiting for your 94 seconds. Here's what I want you to know. It's coming. The people who underestimate you, they don't know what you carry. What you've survived. What you're capable of. They see your surface. They don't see your depth. Keep going. Keep fighting. And when your moment comes, make them learn the hard way. So let me ask you. Have you ever been underestimated because of how you looked, or where you came from? What happened? Have you ever had a Hartwell in your life? Someone who tried to make you feel small? Is there a James Parker in your story? Someone whose truth deserves to be told? Drop your answers in the comments. Tell me your story. The best ones might become future episodes. And if this story moved you, if it made you angry, or hopeful, or reminded you of your own fight, share it. Share it with someone who's been underestimated. Someone who's fighting to be seen. Someone who needs to know that the truth has a way of coming out. Even if it takes 24 years. Subscribe to Storyversa right now. Because justice isn't given. It's taken. And remember this. A professor didn't know the black student in his class was a math prodigy. He wrote an impossible equation to mock him. To humiliate him. To prove kids like him don't belong. 94 seconds later. He learned exactly who he was dealing with. The hard way. This has been Storyversa. Stay just. This story shouldn't be the exception. It should be the last time it ever happens. At Storyversa, we turn one moment of injustice into a call for change. Subscribe to help make that call louder and longer lasting.